there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. 323. Yadi yachham navartayam jadu karmanyatantritaka
Jatu karmanya tandritaha
mama vartmanu vartante
mama vartmanu vartante
manushya partha sarvasha
Manushya partha sarvashaha.
yadi if he certainly aham I na do not vartayam thus engage jatu ever karmani in the performance of prescribed duties. Atandritaha.
atandritaha
Atandritaha. With great care. Mama, my. Vartma, path. Anuvartante, would follow. Manushaka, all men. Partha, O son of Tha. Sarvashaka, in all respects. Translation. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. 3.24. Utsiteyurime loka
Utsiteyurime loka
nakuryam karma te chetakam
nakuryam karma chedaham
sangarasya chakartasyam
sankarasya kartasyam
upahanyami mam prajaka
upahanyami
imam prajaha.
Utsideyuga would be put into ruin. Imi, all these loka, worlds, not kuryam, I perform, karma, prescribed duties, set, if, aham, I, Shankarascha, of unwanted population, cha, and karta, creator, shyam, would be, upahayam, upahanyam, would destroy, ima, all these, praja, living entities. Translation. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Here, I am going to speak about all the three slokas of 22, 23, 24 together. In text 320, Karma Yoga, Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna how the enlightened Maharaja Janaka performed all his prescribed duties to perfection for his citizens to follow as a first example. For the second example, Sri Krishna talks about himself. Further, Lord Sri Krishna continues that he need not perform any prescribed duties not only in this earth, but also all the 14 planetary systems. There are 6 upper planetary systems and the middle one, our earth, where we stay, and the 7 lower planetary systems. There is no other work prescribed for him. He is worshipable by all demigods. He has nothing to gain. We all know he is Bhagavan. Bhaga means Bhagya. One means possesses. He is Bhagyavan, possessing all the opulences. Now, if we say we have to do our prescribed duties, means we should know what is our prescribed duty. The prescribed duties are divided into 2 categories based on Varna and Ashrama. If one is a Brahmana, he has Yajna Yajana, Patana Patana, Dana Pratigraha, and so on. If one is a Kshatriya, his duty is to protect the country and citizens. For Vaishyas, cow protection, agriculture, and business, etc. For Shudras, to help all the other Varnas in various duties. All the 4 Varnas are important, and the ultimate realization is to reach the Supreme God. Now, which category Lord Sri Krishna comes? He was born as a Kshatriya and spent his early days in Vrindavana as a cowherd boy with the other cowherd boys, cows, and calves, like a Vaishya. After that, he came to Mathura and killed his maternal uncle, Kamsa, and reinstalled Ugrasena as a king. Afterward, Lord Sri Krishna became the king and followed the Kshatriya Dharma and ruled Mathura. Because of the onslaught of Jarasandha's expedition, Lord Sri Krishna took the entire citizens of Mathura to Dwaraka and protected them as a king. He also performed all his prescribed duties as a householder. In text 3.23, Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that if we don't follow the prescribed rules, all people will follow my footsteps and refrain from performing their duties. In text 3.24, Lord Sri Krishna continues to say that if he did not perform his prescribed duties, the entire world would be ruined and total chaos will be created, for which Lord Sri Krishna would be branded for creating these events, unwanted population, and destroying the total peace of the living beings. From the above 3 slokas, we have come to the conclusion that we have to perform our prescribed duties regularly for our ultimate realization. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Nice examples. The story of Krishna. So anybody wants to add anything? Any questions? Actually, these 3 verses are fairly straightforward, very simple. So in the first one, which is 22, Krishna says that he has no prescribed duties. So this Name Partha Asti Kartavyam. I have no Kartavya. Kartavya means duty. Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana, in the 3 worlds. Nanavaptam Avaptavyam Varta Eva Cha Karmani. Now, why? He has no prescribed duties, but what does it actually mean for him? One, there is nothing written that Krishna has to do in the three worlds. Okay. We all have written duties. So depending on what is our station, whether we are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whether we are Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, or whatever is our age, whatever is our station in life, we have duties. Mother has duties, children have duties, father has duties. So everybody has duties. But for Krishna, there is no duty that has been stated. So no work has been prescribed for him. Now he supports that by adding, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything. We all need to work, because if we don't work, we can't survive. Okay. First, even if I decide I don't want to work, earlier Krishna has already said that no human being is going to be able to sit in a corner just by himself doing nothing at all. That's just not going to happen. Just the very fact that you breathe, you're working. Okay. And what is the work you've done? You've just killed a few bacteria, if nothing else. Yeah. So work is always happening. Now, in addition to the work that we do naturally by the very act of living, there is work that has been prescribed for us, which is what we call our duties, which is also called dharma. Perform your dharma. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, that's one underlying message throughout that Krishna repeats in various ways. And in fact, he repeats the same verse twice. And that verse refers to do your duty, do your dharma. Okay, so we all have duties that we are supposed to do. But for Krishna, there is no duty that has been set for him. Why have duties been set for us? Because as a human being, as a living being, we are all interconnected. I cannot live by myself. In order to live, I have to kill another living entity. I have to kill either a plant or an animal to feed. I have to eat. So I am not alone, which means I'm part of a huge chain, a huge network. And this is like, you know how in a sweater you have a thread and it's so nicely, beautifully woven. There are such pretty patterns. And then you see that small thread and you start pulling it. And when you start to pull it, the whole sweater just unravels. Everything just falls apart. So it's the same thing with us. If each living entity does not perform its duty, the whole network, the whole fabric of life tends to fall apart. So then what happens? We end up with whole species disappearing off the face of the earth. You have climate problems, you have global warming, you have all kinds of issues that come up. Why? Because one human being, when I say one human being, I don't mean one person, but the human beings as a whole are not playing their part correctly. They are not following their dharma correctly, their duties correctly. So we all have duties written for us, but for the Lord, there is nothing written. And that's because he says, I'm not in want of anything. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I don't need anything. For us, basic needs are definitely there. Food, water, shelter, clothes, all this is our basic needs. Now, your World Health Organization also says that everybody's basic need is entertainment. Everybody's basic need is happiness. So we're going beyond just that basic food, shelter, and water. So, but for the Lord, He doesn't need anything. And why is that? He is self-satisfied. He is Atmaram. He doesn't look for happiness outside. He is so satisfied in himself. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't want anything. So when we have needs, we have wants. Everybody wants the new phone that's just out in the market. Everybody wants wants to download the new song that's just been released. Everybody wants to watch the latest movie on Netflix. The list is quite endless, isn't it? We all have the needs, of course, are there. On top of that, we have so many wants, which then makes us responsible to the world, society as a whole. And here Prabhupada in his purport, he talks about these two verses from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, where the first one is Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Daivatam Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad Vidama Devam Bhuvanesha Medyam Na Tasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate Na Tat Samascha Vidyak चाभ्यधिकश्च दृश्यते परास्य शक्तिर्विविधैव श्रूयते स्वाभावकी ज्ञानबलक्रिया च. Now, the second verse here, you'll find that Prabhupada quotes it a lot throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so these two verses basically tell us that the Supreme Lord, He's the Supreme Controller, He's the controller of all controllers. He is Devata Nam Paramam Cha Daivatam. He is the Supreme Worshipable. Patim Patinam, He's the Lord of all lords. Paramam Parastat, there is no one beyond Him. Vidamadevam Bhuvanesha Medyam. And so He is worshipped by even the controllers of the universe. And the second one says, Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Tasya karyam na vidyate. There is no work for him. So there is no work. Na tat samaschabhyadikascha drishyate. And nobody is able to look like him or better than him. So he's the most beautiful, most opulent, most attractive. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. And there is no one, Para Asya Shaktihi Vividhaiva Shruyate. His energies are so powerful, they are so multifarious, is the word Prabhupada used. Vividha. Vividha means different, variety. So there is a huge variety of his Shaktis, of his energies, which enable him to be Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. So Jnana Bala Kriya, knowledge, strength, and work. Everything is carried out just by his energies. So there is no need for him to get up and do anything at all. Everything is just managed by just the thought process. He doesn't even have to think about it. It's all done. Then in the next verse, Krishna says, why? He says, in the previous verse, he says, there is no work, yet I'm engaged in work. In the end, he says, even though there is no work prescribed for me, yet I'm engaged in work. Now, what is Krishna's work? Who can tell me? He tells it in the Bhagavad Gita, actually.
Actually, he follows all that whatever we follow him. Actually, what he does Sandhya Vandanam, he does Pitru Tarpanam, and he also uh, invite people whenever people visit him. He used to do Argyam, Padyam, Archa, all these things he has to do. And he used to prostrate them. He is a god. Everybody knows that. Even then, also, he does all that as it is. He is a normal human being
Human being.
because he is teaching us how to do what to do in the society so that everything will go smooth. Otherwise, if nobody follows what he says, it will be a problem. There will be a confusion in the
Yes.
society.
Yes, that is correct. Um, so when he says, I'm engaged in work, his work can be broadly classified into three parts. Okay, so all that Prabhuji just mentioned, about him doing his Sandhya Vandanam, about him getting up early in the morning, and then he is meditating, he's doing all these duties, right? Now they can be broadly classified into three categories. And these are stated in chapter 4. Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma samsthapanarthaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. Why does he need to come again and again? There is nothing prescribed for him to do. He doesn't need to do it. Yet he comes. And the reason he comes is threefold. Paritranaya sadhunam. Now, whatever Prabhuji mentioned, that falls into the third category. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. So, in order to establish dharma, in order to show people what is right and what is wrong, how duties must be conducted. Yeah. And also to establish the dharma of a particular yuga. So, in this Kali Yuga, dharma is Sankirtana Yajna. Sankirtan, do Sankirtan, chant the holy names. Yeah. Paritranaya sadhunam. So there are all his devotees. Paritrana, one meaning means to protect. But then the Lord doesn't need to come himself to protect. No, he just said, there is no work for me. And the Shvetashvatara Upanishad just said, his Shaktis take care of everything. So why does he need to come himself? He doesn't need to. He can just be sitting in his Vaikuntha or Goloka and just, it's like, get rid of him. And he's gone, whoever it is. Whether it's Hiranyakashipu or whether it's Ravana, he doesn't need to come and fight. He doesn't need to do it. So that whole Vinashaya Chadushkritam, there are two reasons he comes. He does those things. Number 2 and number 3, Vinashaya cha dushkritam and dharma samsthapanarthaya. The reason he comes to do these two things is because of the first one, paritranaya sadhunam. Okay. Now, to protect, he doesn't necessarily have to come. We established that, right? He comes because his devotees want to see him. His devotees want to engage with him directly. More importantly, he comes because he wants to engage with his devotees directly. Because the true devotee of the Lord is not going to sit here and say, oh, Krishna, please come. I want to see you. I want to play with you. I want to do this with you. No, I'm not going to trouble you, my Lord. You have so many more important things in life to do. I'm sitting here just wasting my time. I'm not going to waste your time by calling you here. But the Lord says, oh, but I would like to come and play with you. I would like to come and see you. I would like to come and eat the bear from your hand, even though it's jhuta. Shabari. No? He comes because Paritranaya sadhunam. He wants to bring that immense happiness to his devotees. And he wants to in turn be immensely happy just by being with his devotees. So he is engaged in work. But again, why do we all work? Quick question. Why do we all work? What kind of work do we do?
To gain something.
To gain something, exactly. And to gain something, why? Why do we want to gain things?
Because to live.
Oh, that is the higher stage, Ma.
For living.
For living, what else?
We have desires, Mataji.
We have desires, but why do we have desires? What do those desires do for us?
Wants are
Fulfilling
unlimited.
Sorry?
Wants are unlimited.
That is true. But what happens when we fulfill a desire?
It will ask more.
We ask more, but we are also happy, right? So basically, every action that we do in life is for happiness. We would not do anything if it brought us misery. We just don't. Which is why we really don't like doing our duties, because our duties are painful. They constrict us. I'm supposed to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Just can't. Why? Because I've been too busy playing video games till 12 at night. 1 at night, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So everything that we do, we try and do only because we think it brings us happiness. Now, now remember, we are a reflection of the Lord. So everything we do is also in the Lord. Whatever the Lord does, also he does because he thinks it will bring him happiness. Now, in the Lord's case, it does bring him happiness. In our case, that's not necessarily the case. Right? So, but in the Lord's case, when he says, I'm engaged in work, he is not engaged in work and miserable about it. He does it happily. This is like a mother, even though sometimes she may be in pain, she's not well, but she'll still get up and cook. Why? Because my child shouldn't go hungry. Oh, and I promised my boy that I would feed him this today. I have to keep my promise. So there's so much love. And because of that, she will get up and do it. It's the same way with the Lord. He has so much love for all of us, which is why he comes down. He doesn't need to. Paritranaya sadhunam. So definitely he comes for the sadhus. Why? Because they love him so much. He loves them so much. Okay. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. The dushkritas don't love him. But he still comes. And when he takes care of them, when he kills them, they go back to his home. How wonderful is that? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. Now, dharma is for the common people. Common people may believe in him, may not believe in him. I don't believe in God. But does that mean he stops your air and water? No. He still comes down and he still tells you, these are your duties. Follow them, you will be happy and you will progress very nicely. Don't follow them? What to do? So he still comes. The reason he is engaged in work is because of love. It's not that the Bhagavad Gita does not talk about bhakti in terms of the loving relationship with the Lord. It is not just a whole list of do's and don'ts. When we look at the reason underneath those do's and don'ts, we realize that those do's and don'ts come to us because of the intense love that the Lord has for us. in spite of us having, at least in spite of me having absolutely no love for him, he still does so much. There's so much happiness around me. Why? Sometimes we look back and we go, I don't deserve it, do I? And in spite of that, how is it possible? Then you realize, oh, he loves me so much. He loves me. Yeah? So, Varta eva cha karmani. He says, I'm engaged in doing my duty. I just do my duty. By doing my duty, I show my love. Just as by doing her duty, the mother shows her love. The mother doesn't sit every day and tell the child, oh, my child, I love you so much. Child is crying in hunger. Oh, but I love you so much. How does that help? So love is shown by doing one's duty. And that is what the Lord is doing. In the next verse, he says, if I did not do my work, everyone will follow my path. And that he has already said earlier. He said, na, yad yad acharati shreshtas, tatta devetara janaha. So whatever the leaders do, all the followers will follow. So I am the supreme leader. Whatever I do, everyone will follow.
Yatha Raja Tada Praja.
Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. Correct. So why does he perform activities? So he carefully performs his prescribed duties. One, to set an example. Two, he says, Prabhupada says, to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress in spiritual life. And the third is to establish religious principles, dharma samsthapanarthaya. Okay. And then in the next verse, he says, if I don't do my work, if I should cease to work, then all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all sentient beings. Now, this term, Sankarasya, unwanted population, what does that remind you of? That term. Have you heard it before?
Progeny.
Have you heard that before? Have you heard that term before? Where have you heard that term before?
Arjuna says no, Mataji, before.
Very good. Yes. In the first chapter, that's one of Arjuna's reasons for not fighting. Na? He says, if I were to kill everyone, then there will be, the women will be left unprotected. And then there would be Varna Sankara. Na? Varna Sankara means unwanted population, unwanted progeny. Now here Krishna is telling him, so this particular verse is a direct remark by Krishna against that particular point raised by Arjuna. Arjuna is saying, by doing my duty, I will cause unwanted population. Krishna is saying, by not doing my duty, I will cause unwanted population. So it's a direct refutation of what Arjuna says. So he says, if I should cease to work, then all these worlds would be put to ruination. Everything will be ruined, he says. Why? Because everyone will follow my path. If I don't do my work, nobody will do their work. complete ruination. Then, because of that, there will be unwanted population. And then he says, I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. All living beings. I would thereby destroy the peace of all sentient beings, he says. So, Prabhupada, in his purport, he talks about how what this means is that we must follow in the Lord's footsteps. Anusaranam, it's called. But not do what he did. Anukaranam. What that means is one must accept all the principles behind what the Lord did. So, for instance, you have Lord Shiva. So, the followers of Lord Shiva, Prabhupada gives the example, the followers of Lord Shiva sit around saying, oh, the Lord smokes ganja, so I will also smoke ganja. The Lord smokes, charas, so I will. That's why I smoke it. Now, firstly, nowhere in the scriptures, in any scripture, is it stated that Lord Shiva takes intoxication. He is naturally intoxicated because of the ecstasy he feels when he's chanting the Lord's names. Okay. So that apart, so now you want to take, you want to start smoking intoxicants and say, oh, that's because the Lord did it. So the argument against that Prabhupada gives is, if that is the case, then everyone should be told, Shiva drank poison. First, you also drink poison. After that, you can smoke. You drink poison and you survive it, and I will bring you the ganja myself. Smoke. Please smoke. Yeah? So, anukaranam is wrong. Anusaranam. One must follow in the footsteps, follow the principles. So what does Lord Shiva do? He chants Lord Krishna's name, Lord Rama's name endlessly. In the temple you go, you see him sitting with his eyes closed, mala in hand. What is he doing? He's chanting. He's engaged in his service. You go to the temple, you see Lord Ganesha. What is he doing? He's holding the Bhagavad Gita in his hand, actually. The Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita in his hand. Why? Because he's the one who wrote it, the Mahabharata. And what was the condition? That he cannot write it unless he has understood it. Which means if we want to go to the temple and we want to bow down before these devatas and ask them for something, this is what we should be asking. Oh, Ganeshji, you actually understand the Bhagavad Gita. How wonderful is that? Please help me also. Take away all those obstacles. Vignaharta, विघ्न हटाइए. जो इधर अंदर भरे पड़े हैं ना, वो सारे विघ्न हटाइए भगवान. Go to Lord Shiva. You chant so beautifully all the time. Teach me how to chant. Mother Saraswati. Varade Kamarupini Vidya Arambam Karishyami. What Vidya Arambam? I'm going to read the Bhagavad Gita. Please help me understand. Devi Durga is there. What is her job? She is the controller of this material universe. Maya Devi. So approach her and say, oh Maya Devi, थोड़ा सा ये पर्दा हटा देना. Maya Javanika Channam Agnya Dokshajam Avyayam. This is what in the Bhagavatam Kunti Maharani prays to Lord Shri Krishna. She says, your Maya Javanika. Javanika means curtain. The curtain of your Maya is so strong. You can't see beyond it. Now she is the Adhishtatri Devi of Maya, Durga Devi. So go ask her. माया जवनी का छन्नम हटाइए थोड़ा प्लीज, थोड़ी सी भक्ति आने दीजिए. Or if you want to put a curtain, put it on my material desires. So the Lord says we have duties, we have to perform those duties. And earlier also he has said, perform those duties without being attached to the results. No? 3 verses before this he has said, perform your duties without being attached to the result. That's what we have to do. So any questions? Any comments?
Next to 3 days lockdown.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that.
From tonight onwards.
Oh.
Oh, how many days?
3 days.
Oh.
Vasani has gone to university to bring her laptop.
And this is in Auckland only?
I don't know. They have gone to university to bring back the laptop.
Oh. So basically work from home type lockdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Complete level
Because
4. Huh?
in community 3,
3 cases. But
Oh.
is
near Papakura school, and they 5 teachers and 25 students, they are in the community, I think.
spread? That's why. Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Auckland to level 3 tonight and the rest of the country at level 2.
Oh, okay.
Mm. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
3 days.
Okay.
Or 3.
So we'll be meeting again next week, won't we? So next Saturday. Where's my, there it is.
20th,
So we need to do verse
25.
25.
25, 26, 27.
Yes, who's doing that?
I'm doing 27.
Oh, you're doing 27.
Yeah.
Okay, so 25, 26, who's doing it? Okay, if nobody here, then I'm
Probably
assuming
Aditya Prabhu.
Aditya, yeah, I think it's Aditya Prabhu. Okay, so never mind, 25, 26, and you're doing 27, no, Prabhuji?
27. Yeah.
Okay, and okay, so then we have 28, which all are the other ones? Prabhuji, can you do 27 and 28 both?
28. Okay, not a problem.
Okay. So 27, 28 you do.
Yeah.
Then 29, 30
28.
and 31. 21 and 29, 30, 31 and 32.
27.
So who wants to do 29, 30, 31 and 32? 4 verses. So that will come up, not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. So on the 20th.
That is 27th February.
20th of February, yes. Sorry, not 20th of February. Today is 14th.
27th
So 27th of February, yes. Do you want to do it, ma'am?
No, I have to my Sanskrit whole time. It's really too
Okay,
much.
don't worry, I'll do it.
No, Daddy told me, now you have done times 3 slokas. If we ask you to do 6 slokas at a, and you are telling me 4 slokas. No, I don't want to.
Okay, no worries.
I want some rest.
Okay.
I
You
will
rest, you rest.
and
2
then I
weeks
will
of
come.
rest. No problem. Okay. So 29, I'll do 29, 30, 31, and 32. I'll do it. I better note it, otherwise I'll forget. Okay. So any questions, any comments? We are in lockdown, my dear. Yeah. So then we'll stop here for tonight. And we'll meet next weekend.
Enjoy your lockdown.
Enjoy the lockdown. How are you, Sujata Mataji? How's all
I'm good.
everything going on?
Yeah, going on well. So
Is he here or is he?
no, he left tonight. He just left today evening.
Okay.
And 25th he's planning to leave. And I
Okay.
hope everything goes off smoothly